Ruy Lopez opening, Berlin, Rio Gambit accepted, 5.Re1 Nd6 6.Nxe5. Sudden a close game that was lost by a mistake. Black got the better of white in that game. Both players had an amazing opening. The middle game battle was fairly even. Sharp games are frequently the result of starting with the king's pawn since it dominates the center and frees up the bishop and queen on the light squares. A typical answer is e5, which builds a position in the middle, controls d4, and frees up the queen and bishop on the dark square. The move nf3 advances the knight toward the center, engages the e5 piece in combat, and sets up a castle. nc6 defends the pawn on e5, advances the knight toward the center, and scans the d4 square. The Ruy Lopez opening develops the bishop to immediately attack the knight on c6, the lone defender of the e5 pawn. nf6 advances the knight and engages in an attack on the exposed e4 pawn. Castling gets the king out of the center and activates the rook. nxe4 captures the e4 pawn and places the knight in the center of the board where it controls many important squares. 1 rupee activates the rook and attacks the knight on e4. nd6 retreats the knight to a central square that attacks the bishop on b5 and controls the e4 and c4 squares. nxe5 captures the e5 pawn, centralizes the knight and attacks the knight on c6. This protects an underdefended knight that is under attack. The bishop is now on a square that is more secure. This exchange is fair. Recaptures. Castling develops a rook, while also moving the king to safety. Castling to the same side of the board as the opponent tends to lead to less sharp positions as compared with opposite side castling. The bishop is prepared to grow into a functional square. This attacks a rook, winning a tempo when it moves away. This move puts the rook on a safer square. This defends a piece that is being attacked but is not well defended. The bishop will be better off as a result of this. It is the final book action. This shifts the bishop to a square with more activity, giving it greater scope. It is quite good. A wise decision. It is quite good. This strikes a rival knight. It is quite good. The knight is thus brought to safety. That's good. Not the finest, this. It is incorrect. This misses a chance to grow a bishop outside of its starting square. It is incorrect. Although white lost their edge, the game is still almost evenly matched. It is incorrect. What I would have advised is that. It is ideal. This ignores a more effective technique to strengthen a pawn's defense. It is incorrect. By growing a bishop from its initial square, this activates it. It is ideal. This poses a fork piece threat. That's good. This kicks an opposing bishop. This is the only good move. It is a great move. This moves the bishop to safety. This threatens to fork pieces. It is excellent. This threatens to kick a queen. This prevents the opponent from being able to fork pieces. It is excellent. The knight can now control more squares as a result. It is ideal. Now that the rooks can see one another, they can defend one another. It is quite good. This misses an opportunity to develop a bishop by placing it on the long diagonal. It is an inaccuracy. Only one move worked there, and this wasn't it? This overlooks an opportunity to develop a rook off its starting square. It is a mistake. As a result, the bishop grows and gains flexibility on the long diagonal. It is ideal. A rook enters the action after developing outside of its starting square as a result. It is ideal. This poses a risk of winning a pawn. It is ideal. This makes it impossible for the adversary to gain a pawn. It is ideal. Among the best actions. It is quite good. This poses a threat to slay a queen. It is quite good. The pawn is now on a square that is safer. It is ideal. It's all right. That's good. This poses a risk of winning a pawn. It is incorrect. There was just one smart move to be made. It is incorrect. There was only one good move in that position. It is a miss. This suggests exchanging items of equivalent value. That's good. This exchange is fair. That's good. A better technique to recapture a piece is missed by this. It is incorrect. This is not the best approach. It is incorrect. This overlooks a better way to move a queen to safety. This allows the opponent to pin a pawn. It is an inaccuracy. This protects a weak piece by trapping one of its assailants. It is ideal. A powerful play. It is quite good. There were worse maneuvers, but there were also much better ones. It is incorrect. That is a regrettable error. It is incorrect. There was only one move that was effective, and this wasn't it? That falls flat. Not the finest, this. It is incorrect. This could have been done lot better. It is incorrect. That's a decent move. That's good. This is not the best approach. It is incorrect. This offers an equal trade of pieces. This is the only move that works. It is a great move. This exchange is fair. It is ideal. This is a missed chance to get something back. It is incorrect. This misses a fantastic but elusive move. There was just one smart move to be made. It is incorrect. Recaptures, from a previous move. This is the only move that works. It is a great move. Perfectly on point. It is ideal. The moved pawn advances toward its objective. That's good. This is a missed chance to use a pawn to attack the center. It is incorrect. This keeps the material balance in check with good commerce. It is ideal. Backs off. It is ideal. This is the only good move. It is a great move. This provides a free pawn. A passing pawn could be promoted as a result of this. It is incorrect. It was a free pawn there. It is ideal. There were worse maneuvers, but there were also much better ones. It is incorrect. By doing this, a chance to advance a defeated piece is missed. This gives the adversary the chance to win a tempo by posing a queen threat. It is incorrect. This misses an opportunity to win a tempo by threatening a queen. This permits the opponent to take an outpost with a knight. It is an inaccuracy. The moved pawn advances toward its objective. It is quite good. That is a logical response. It is quite good. The knight is now located at an outpost, a safe area inside the enemy's territory. It is quite good. A wise decision. It is quite good. A pawn that was being attacked and had no defenses is now protected by this. It is quite good. This hits in the middle and prevents the opponent from gaining ground. It is ideal. While not a mistake, that is also not the wisest course of action. That's good. This enables the adversary to make a passed pawn. It is incorrect. This secures a pawn. That's good. This avoids the knight's check. It's compelled. That was a great move and very hard to find. It is brilliant. The best choice is this one. It is ideal. This puts pressure on the pinned knight by adding an attacker, which is a powerful resource because a pinned piece cannot move away from the attack. This is the only move that works. It is a great move. It's all right. That's good. This takes down a knight who is helpless. It is ideal. Among the best actions. It is quite good. Very precise. It is best. This avoids the pawn's check. It is ideal. This raises the possibility of an eventual checkmate. It is ideal. This keeps the material balance in check with good commerce. It is quite good. This creates a threat to win a pawn. This is the only good move. This is the start of the endgame and black is winning. It is a great move. This blocks the check from an opposing queen. It is best. Sudden a close game that was lost by a mistake. Black got the better of white in that game. Both players had an amazing opening. The middle game battle was fairly even. This offers to exchange pieces of equal value. It is best. Sudden a close game that was lost by a mistake. Black got the better of white in that game. Both players had an amazing opening. The middle game battle was fairly even.